This morning in one of the committees, Senator Kelly Anthon presented Senate Bill 1211. Let's listen to a little. He goes on for a little bit, but let's listen to a little bit of it.
Bill number 1211. This is a bill that will allow Ivermectin, a drug, to be sold and purchased without a prescription in Idaho over the counter. Just to give you a brief introduction to this, let me visit with you just a little bit about it. Ivermectin. This is a drug that has had really immeasurable impacts on improving the lives of billions and billions of people throughout the world since it was discovered. It's been called in many places a wonder drug. It's been able to serve in treating and in many ways curing human diseases, treating parasites, worms in humans, and in most countries it is legal over the counter. Arkansas has just made it legal over the counter. Tennessee has made it legal over the counter. And as I understand it, North Carolina has introduced legislation to make it legal over the counter in just recent days. Ivermectin has been used safely for decades to treat conditions, like I said, such as parasitic infections like river blindness, scabies. The drug has undergone extensive research, and it has been approved by health authorities like the WHO and the U.S. Food and Drug Administration for specific uses. It has had wide use in global health programs. It's been a cornerstone in many public health initiatives, especially in low-income regions.
Okay, folks, this is incredible. I mean, it's great, and he goes on for a while here. And to his credit, this is great. But I like where, folks, where are we right now? Right, like 4 years ago, they were saying that you were a heretic, you were anti-science, you were evil, you were horrible, you were a grandma killer, you were all of this if you suggested anything other than what Fauci was telling you to do, or what Deborah Birx was telling you what to do, or what Francis Collins was telling you what to do. Oh, we remember your names. We remember your names. It's the one thing. It's the one thing I take issue with when people say, why did Trump put Fauci in charge? Why? Because we would soon have to remember their names. But that's a debate for another day. Fantastic that we were at this point now where you have the leader of the Senate, the leader of the Idaho Senate here, presenting a bill to make ivermectin over the counter, because this thing is made generically. It's found in nature, and it's been made generically. I mean, we could do a whole special on this stuff. But of course, the Democrats, because they need ivermectin to get the worms out of their brains. Listen to some of this.
Do you have any insight as to why there's a requirement for a consultation? Let's see, it has to be a prescription and a consultation, or is it either or? And do you know why?
Senator Anthon.
Mr. Chairman, Senator Rutke, I think you're asking me if there's currently a requirement?
Right, yeah.
Senator Anthon.
Mr. Chairman, Senator Rutke, I think the answer to that is that we have gone through a process like this in many other cases with many other medicines. And we have gone through a process that until, we get comfortable, until the legislature gets comfortable with certain medications. And I think, I'm going to be honest with you, I think there are business applications to these things. And there's a political application to these things. And there's always a risk assessment to these things. I think we could go through history and find out there were certain medications that until people said, you know what, we're comfortable taking the risk. And I think you'd see it in the opposite direction. And if you look back through history, you would find there were medications that we freely gave out until we said, hey, that's no good, let's start regulating those things. So there's a give and take all the time in these sectors. But I think we've come to the point with regard to ivermectin, and I've heard it testified to today, and I will tell you, in my family, I know people who've taken ivermectin because they know its benefits, they know it's not risky. I'm not going to give you names because but the fact of the matter is there's an understanding that this is not a risky drug, and there's a frustration that it's not more readily available. And so this what you're seeing in this bill is a growing consensus that it's time that the state stop restricting people's access to this drug. And that's why I think that there is a belief that there shouldn't be a requirement for a consultation or prescription for this kind of drug.
Amen. Amen. Amen to that. I mean, and again, here we are 4 years later, 5 years later, and we're trying to make ivermectin available for everybody. It won a Nobel Prize, folks. 2015, it won a Nobel Prize, and they tried to scare you. They tried to scare you. They tried to scare you not to take it. Because, why? Because if there was treatment out there, then the vaccines never would have gotten emergency authorization. And then Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson and the rest of them wouldn't have been able to roll out their vaccines, and they wouldn't have been able to say this is the only way to get out of the pandemic. What a huge scam. What a huge scam. Well, folks, now that we've covered that section, I can rest assured YouTube will have some issue with this particular episode. So that just means that you got to make sure you have an account on Rumble and on X to make sure that you can continue watching us, because I have no idea. It'll be interesting to see how this episode fares on YouTube and Facebook. But if you're watching us on either of those two platforms, please do make sure you're with us over on Rumble and X as well. And of course, you can, it's never censored over on idahosignal.live ever, because we control that feed. idahosignal.live, folks, that's where you can listen to the program and join us there as always throughout the day.